Hey there. In my research that I was doing to make the video about MLMs being bad for relationships and marriages and ending in divorce, I found this article that I saved to read to you. It is on Scary Mommy. It's from 2021, and it's called MLMs Aren't Just Bad for Your Finances, They're Bad for Your Friendships. Now, this MLM obviously stands for multi-level marketing. And I want to read this to you. I'm Megan Fox. I write with pjmedia.com. I'm a columnist there. You can find my columns there every day. And you can also sign up for our VIP subscribership service that gets you access to my weekly podcast on pjmedia.com that is focused more around politics and political issues and issues of culture. And my promo code is FOX for a discount. You can find that at pjmedia.com. But let's get into this article. MLMs aren't just bad for your finances, they're bad for your friendships. Women who become stay at home moms within the past 10 to 15 years, in my opinion, got screwed. Sure, we joined the motherhood circle as social media took off, making for easier connections than the 90s moms may have had. But we also began this new chapter for many of us, the most challenging chapter of our lives at a time when something else was taking off, something our friends got sucked into, and many of us got sucked into as well, something that ruined our finances, ruined our friendships, and left us feeling empty, defeated, and angry, rather than feeling like the boss babe we were promised to be. You know what I'm talking about. The MLM industry. Leggings, spices, cooking oils, cleaning products, nail decals, candles, jewelry, makeup, face creams, diet pills, fat shrinking wraps, detox teas, vitamin infused patches that will make us feel better than ever. There's an MLM for everything these days, and most of us, I think, have caught on to the scam. But personally, back in 2013, when I was drowning in babies and desperate for a girls' night out, desperate for something to focus on that wasn't wiping butts or breastfeeding or cleaning crusty high chairs, I got scammed. I can remember one friend inviting me to a presentation about healthy living, and as a breastfeeding mom who had had 3 babies in 5 years, I was intrigued. Healthy recipes? Info about what the best vitamins were or how to get vegetables into my kids' bellies? Meal prep advice? Sure, sign me up. But honestly, I was just excited that my husband was going to handle bedtime and I could escape for the evening. It was, of course, a huge presentation encouraging everyone to buy some fruit infused pills. There were no recipes, no advice for busy, exhausted moms, just a pitch for us to spend hundreds of dollars on their product, or better yet, join the team and peddle them ourselves. Then there were the intentionally vague girls' night invites. Come over for wine and snacks. Mom's night out, the text would read. I couldn't hand off the babies fast enough. But time and time again, the mom's night out I had eagerly anticipated was really a ploy to get me in the door and get me to open my wallet. And of course, the host was my friend, so I always felt obligated to purchase something, even though I didn't need a $70 pair of leggings, nor could I afford them. And it's not just the obligatory purchase we make at this event we were duped into attending. We have to sit through the pitch that tells us we're complete idiots if we too don't hop on board. Join the team, be our own boss. We have to hear about Gretchen, who rose to the top of the company only working a few hours a month, and just took a trip to the Caribbean and bought herself a shiny new Mercedes. Don't you want to be Gretchen? They'd ask us. Sign up here. Why wouldn't you? Do you hate money? Do you hate trips to the Caribbean? Do you hate nice cars? Don't you want to be your own boss? Could we get up and leave once we realized we'd been scammed? Sure. But these are our friends, our neighbors, moms from our kids' school. Do we sever the friendship and isolate ourselves from the group? Or do we sit through the bullshit for a couple of hours and then go home with our new $30 spice packet that we'll never use and stew in our anger? The truth is, MLMs aren't new. They've been around forever. And yes, there are success stories of the few who make it to the top, the few who truly make a viable income working from home, selling a product they may or may not believe in. But when social media exploded onto the scene, the old school method of seeing a Mary Kay flyer appear in your mailbox with a note that read, "Call me if you want to buy anything," or the occasional Tupperware or Pampered Chef party appearing on your doorstep, was replaced by relentless recruitment. Now everyone can be a boss babe. All you need is an Instagram account and the willingness to isolate all your real friends to make a buck. And before, you knew that you were going what you were going into when you attended a Pampered Chef party. It wasn't a trick. Now MLMers are sneaky and they disguise their sales pitch as a coffee date where the two of you can catch up. But really, 20 minutes in, you're hearing about some face cream you need to have. Thanks, my face is fine. Also, we're not friends anymore. In reality, most MLMs don't work. I'd go so far as to say all of them. None of them work. The boss babes don't make much money at all, and sometimes are actually in debt after having to buy into the company at the beginning. They are so desperate to make a sale or recruit a team member that they're willing to risk your friendship, likely because they're watching their bank account get drained. Here's the hard truth. The percentage of women who truly succeed in an MLM business is low, extremely low, as in 1%. 1%. That's right, folks. Remember those horror stories about women who'd been duped into buying hordes of LuLaRoe leggings and then couldn't sell them and were out of the money they invested? Their story isn't unique. That's the MLM model, tricking people into joining the team, get them to invest their time and their money, and then let them sink or be the 1% who swim. This percentage isn't a made up fairy tale number for dramatics. A study conducted by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, revealed that 99% of MLMs fail and end in a loss of revenue, not a gain. And on top of losing money, MLMers also drive away all the authentic friendships they had by pushing their product on everyone. So now they're broken alone. No Mercedes, no trip to the Caribbean, not even a girlfriend they can call. And by the way, and this is me speaking, those trips, those trips are not free. They say they're all expenses paid. That's bullshit. You have to pay the taxes. A lot of them don't include food. A lot of them don't include a lot of stuff, and you have to pay taxes on it. So if it's a $10,000 trip, you are paying like $1,200 in taxes on it. Do you have an extra 1,200 bucks? Like there's so much about all of this. It's all lies, total lies. And, it's a scam, and I just please, if you're anywhere near anything like this, get away. Moving on. A recent Reddit post, in fact, highlights this exact reality that so many of us have experienced, the end of a friendship because of an MLM. The post tells an all too familiar tale. You know the one, a friend you trust, giving you some pitch about how her product will make you feel so much better, gives energy, helps with depression, it'll make your back pain go away, and the bonus of losing weight. Only when the person on the other end of that Only when the other person on the other end of that spiel says no thanks, I'll seek advice about my health from a medical doctor, rather than lighting money on fire to purchase whatever patch or vitamin shake or pill the friend is peddling, the friendship is forever changed. In this case, it was a 25-year-long one. The Reddit post says that after responding several times that she was not interested in all the parties her friend kept inviting her to without her permission, the MLMer replied with a bunch of Hunbot, "I'm too busy building my empire for your negativity. Bye, Felicia." Your empire? Yeah, sure. The original post ends by saying that there should be a support group for those who have lost a friendship because of an MLM, a support group many of us need. So, why do so many do it if it ruins decades long friendships? In an article on Washington Post, digs into the MLM phenomenon, which is dominated by women. One primary reason is that it remains challenging, even in 2021, for mothers to make an income while still managing their endless motherhood responsibilities. MLMs supposedly offer a way to do the impossible, although, and this is me speaking, although they say that, but you end up working more hours in an MLM than you've ever worked at a 9 to 5 when you leave your work at work and go home. The MLM never goes away anywhere. It follows you everywhere, and you're expected to work no matter where you are or what you're doing, and it takes so much time away from your family. It is a lie that you can do part-time hours and get a full-time salary. That's a lie. It's not true. You end up putting in way more hours in an MLM, just desperate to try and make it work because you've invested into it, than you ever did at a 9 to 5 job. Trust me. Moving on. These women are not setting out to annoy their friends, the article explains. Many want and need flexible work options because of family or other responsibilities, but it's challenging to find a standard job that fits within school hours or an unusual schedule, especially if you've been out of the workforce for a few years to care for a child or relative. Also, the article touches on the fact that also well into the 21st century, women still struggle to be respected in leadership roles and to earn equal pay. Actually, I think that that's a scam. Well, I'll get into that later, but that equal pay thing has been debunked a million times. MLMs market themselves as a way for women to be their own bosses, and that can be very appealing to a woman who has been underpaid, talked over, and mansplained to her entire career. Also, those same women who fought sexism in the workplace also often struggle to find validation as stay at home moms. Validation that is promised by sneaky campaigns telling moms they can do it all while staying home and working from their living room couch. What's not to love, right? And going off the article for a second, in this day and age, it's much easier now to find a work from home job, a legit work from home job. COVID, if it did anything for us, the pandemic showed us what we already knew, which was that most of these jobs could be done from home. And now employers have no other choice but to make that an option. And I think that's been really good for moms, especially who need to stay home. And now almost everyone's working from home. So that's kind of great. Moving on, MLMs promise instant success, camaraderie with other women on a team environment, and a career identity, trappings that standard jobs typically require years to develop. Washington Post explains. The lure of an MLM increases further when it says you'll make loads of money working from home in your pajamas while drinking wine and being your own boss babe, as your friends post pictures doing just that. And boom, you're hooked, and your downward spiral has begun. The MLM industry now has become so toxic and has ruined so many relationships that women are hesitant to even make new friends, fearing that the person seeking them out has ulterior motives. Yes, this is so true. I cannot tell you how many times that I've felt this way because I've been scammed by these people before. So you're like, or you get used by someone, someone just uses you for your connections and wants you to throw a party for them so that they can just, you know, get your friends to buy stuff. And that's all they want you for. So, yeah, yeah. No, I'm very hesitant to make new friends. Moving on, case in point, I moved to a new state 3 years ago and desperately needed a few mom friends. I felt a connection with one mom and invited her to lunch. We eventually went, but she confessed to me that even though she too felt like we had a lot in common, she was afraid I was going to try and sell her something. This is what we've done to mom friendships. We can't even invite a friend to coffee or lunch or a mom's night out anymore because we're all afraid of being scammed into an MLM. So, to sum it up, MLMs are toxic. Don't join the team. Don't try to get your friends to join the team. You'll end up more broke than you were before, and all your friends will block you. It's not worth it to try and sell some candles, boss babe. It's really not. Yeah, I really appreciate this article. I relate to it a lot. It is a problem, and especially during a time when we're all, needing connections because we've been so denied regular socialization for so long with the pandemic and everything. It's just another minefield that you have to navigate to decide who is your friend and who isn't, and it's terrible. I actually had this happen to me when I moved to New York. I was trying to make friends, and this one woman was a babysitter that I had heard of through somebody else and I needed a babysitter for a day, and so she babysat for my child for like one time when I needed to go do something. And she seemed like a really nice lady. And we connected on Facebook and we stayed in touch. And she never said anything. I think she might have said something to me the first day I met her about, oh, my husband and I do this business thing. But she didn't really, she didn't ask me to do anything. So I was like, oh, great. Okay. And then shortly thereafter, after she kind of like would send me texts, like friendly texts, um, she would like I'm trying to explain how this works, but she would send me like normal texts and we would just chat back and forth. And then all of a sudden one day it was, would you look at this thing I want you to buy? I don't even remember what it was. It was I didn't even understand it. It was some kind of energy savings thing. I don't know. And I knew instantly that it was an MLM, and I said, "No, thank you. I'm not interested in that." And she wouldn't let it go, and it was like, "Oh, you don't want lower bills? You don't want a lower electric bill?" I'm like, "No, I'm perfectly fine with the bill that I have. Thanks very much." And I tried to say it nicely several times. And one time she scammed me into getting on the phone. I don't remember how she did it, but she called and I thought it had something to do with a friend of ours, and I picked up the phone and she's doing the hard sell on this thing to me. And I said no again. No, thank you. And we hung up. And then maybe a week later she sent me another message on Facebook pressuring me um to do this thing. And I finally told her, I said, "You know what?" I decided to just be really honest, and I said, "You know what? I feel manipulated and scammed by you, and I have told you no more than once, and you need to take no for an answer. I am never gonna sign up for this thing." And she got offended, like I had, like I was the one in the wrong, and, she said she was sorry and, she didn't think that she had done that, but I've never heard from her again. Thank God. I don't want to, you know? Like, w stop using people to make a buck. Like, quit it, because it's really, really awful to do that to someone, especially someone who's new and who's looking for friends, and you're just trying to take their money. I don't know how people don't see how awful this is and, like, what a terrible way to live this is, but just I wish people would stop doing it. So I thought you would enjoy this article. I know I did. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, and we'll talk again soon.